एक ओंकार सतनाम करता पुरख निरभव निर्वैर अकाल मूर्त अजूनी सैभं गुर प्रसाद। धन धन गुरु ग्रंथ साहब जी महाराज। कमाले करामात कायम करीम, रजा बख्श राजक रिहा को रहीम। न साजो न बाजो न फौजो न फर्श, खुदावंद बख्शंदे अर्श। बीबी गर्दिशे बेवफाए जमा के बरहर बगुजर मकीनो मका। वाहिगुरु जी का खालसा, वाहिगुरु जी की फतेह। We are exploring the Bani of the Japji. We have done 31st Pauris. Pauri meaning a step. And so far we have gone through the core of the Bani, and now we are going to transcend into the 5 realms which are going to come ahead. Japji Sahib is the first Bani of the Guru Nanak Dev Sahib. It has no rag connotation to it, unlike most of the other Banis. 38 Pauris and 2 shloks in this. And it carries in itself the Mool Mantar, the root mantra, the basic mantra, which is an expanse explained in the Guru Granth. It is carrying in it the one question which is answered in the Guru Granth Sahib. Kiv satyara hoiye kiv kude tutte pa. The confusions of life can make us lose our direction. An exploration into a day-to-day life gives us a different understanding. It's a daily struggle or coping with whatever changes come in life. Depending on our ambition and also our capability, that defines how much struggle there will be in my life. If my ambitions are very far from my capabilities, then either I have to learn this method of how to go towards my ambition, or I will struggle because my abilities, my capabilities don't make me reach that goal comfortably. Sometimes we have a different attitude in our inner core, and we are pulled in some different directions by our ground realities. And that is, of course, going to be a struggle. Similarly, life is defined by whatever is on our table. The card player plays the cards he's dealt with, and that's the best he can do. Maharaj says that Hukam Razahi Chalna Nanak Likhya Naal. What is with me is my past. What I am today is a culmination of my entire past. That includes my attitude of life, my learning of life, my knowing of what is right, wrong, my knowing of what is life about, has all in it the past. So the past becomes irrelevant if I know what is the present. But where do I go from here? And how do I go if I am looking at an understanding of life and meeting my source? So if we are detached from our source, then we are bound to be confused. If we don't know our source, where are we coming from? We are detached from our source in a subconscious way. When we sleep, there is a state in our sleep which is called the Turiya. Jagrat Supan Sukhopat Avastha. which is the real deep sleep, where I have lost the sense of who I am and I connect to my source. And that is the refreshing part of sleep. So before that, there is random eye movement, the REM sleep, where I am dreaming my conditioned mind. I'm releasing the stresses from the conditioned mind. And then when that happens, after that, for a certain short period, the mind becomes completely silent. It goes into the realm of the source mind. I am not aware of this source mind in the conscious state. I am only aware of my conditioned mind, and that is the troubled mind, mostly. If I am not troubled, I will be troubled, because this launch pad has no happy ending unless it resolves this source issue, unless it's able to connect to its source and know that beyond its dark mind, beyond its moving mind, beyond its conflicted mind, there is another mind which is not changing and which is very calm, very peaceful. It doesn't have any stress. So in the conditioned mind, we are all different. Our conditions are different. Where we take birth, how we've taken birth, what we've learned, what we have done. So this is the mind which is dictated by karam, by our action. The karam word has two different meanings, one in Farsi. In Persian, it is known as madar, grace. And in Sanskrit, it is the karam, the action we do. Life is like a curtain. You raise the curtain and you see a different vision. And this is the Kurdipal, the wall of falsehood, or the wall of trickery, the wall of deception. We live that life. We live everyday struggle or not struggle. If I am able to achieve my goals, I'm successful in what I'm doing, or I'm comfortable in what I'm doing, then there is maybe no struggle. But there will be struggle. Because this conditioned mind is like a boat in the river. We have to leave it at a point. It's the home. And when we have to leave it, then there is trouble, because we've identified ourselves with this home and this ego and this conditioned mind completely. And in this way, it becomes very confusing. What am I doing right, wrong? Why am I being punished? Why is there pain? These are our very natural questions. Often people will be heard saying, I've done nothing wrong. Why I am being in pain? Why am I in pain? That's what this whole life of deception contains. It's deceptive. We don't know the reality of ourselves. And the harder we hold on to this ego mind, the more trouble there is. You've seen just recently, we have bombs falling all over the country. Nobody should harm the other for their own happiness. That's not the ideal way of life. But that's what we do. We harm the other and we feel happy about it. Sadism. That's one part. So either you are a sadist or a masochist. Masochist hurts himself and a sadist hurts the other. So our source of happiness comes from these really dark parts of ourselves, the moving mind. And then there are stimulants. Sex is a stimulant. So when there is fear of death, that society will indulge in a deeper sexual exploration. Because there, it's the very gross energy of life. There are no thoughts and questions. And then there is love, a paradigm of emotional bonding, where there is a sense of I am. So in this ego mind, there is always this need for I exist, I am, that I need a reinforcement of that. So if I am a good artist and somebody appreciates my art, that appreciates the I am. If I'm appreciated, I am. And this makes me feel happy. But this is a short vision of life. We don't know life in its completeness. We know it in its short visions. The I am. I don't know anything beyond I am. And if somebody says this I will go, then we don't have an answer to what will happen. What will happen when I am gone? This body is no more. Where will I go? These are questions which are, again, natural for us. But what is life? Is it the physical form? Is it what I am doing? What is on my table? What I have to address? What if I assume this to be writing on water? It's just temporary. Good, bad, ugly, whatever it is not forever. So I've got a lot of laurels. I've done very well. In the sense of the world, I've been successful. That means literally money, power, and relationships. These are the things which define success in the world. But does the worry go away? When I have money, does the worry go away? Am I become calmer? Have I become more peaceful? Because that's when how I will enjoy life. If I am not at peace, how will I enjoy life or be at a relaxed phase of life? That is the catch to life. The bigger my ambition, the more worry there is. And the more successful I am, the more troubled I am. बड़े बड़े जो तीसरे लोग तिनको व्यापे चिंता रोग. They're the disease of worry. So this is all our life. This is all our lives are about. It's so conflicted that we don't have a vision of what is really life. Guru says this is a deception, a curtain of deception. And once it goes away, only then we will know what is life. And he defines it in the name of hukam. You will know the hukam when your ego is gone. The ego is what my life is all about. My coming, going, doing, learning, teaching, arguing, agreeing, in love, in a relationship, out of a relationship, all ego. It's nothing else. It's a play of the ego. But what does Maharaj talk about when he says life? In this body, the 32nd body, we will visit what Maharaj says about meeting our source mind. And what does he say about what is really life? The 32nd body. We are 6 bodies away from the culmination of this Bani, the Japji. Jap meaning to meditate on the Shabad. Shabad is the core concept of Guru Nanak Maharaj's ideology. The pillars of Sikhism rest on Shabad. When Guru was asked by the Siddhs, yogis, who is your Guru? Maharaj says, Shabad is my Guru. In fact, Maharaj says, Shabad is the Guru and the focused mind is the follower, the Sikh, the Chela. There is no ego in that state. Now, that's very difficult for us to imagine. And that is kind of the irony, but that's why it's different, because of the way the life is structured. We can never imagine it because our imagination is within our experience. Our source is not in our experience unless there is what Maharaj says in this 32nd Pauri, Nanak Nadri Paiye. With his nadar you meet him. With his nadar you meet your source. With his nadar you leave this realm of change and enter a realm of no change. You leave the realm of high and low, good and bad, loss and profit, pain and pleasure, and you find a different realm, which is unconditional. It's what it is. It's the state of that realm. And that state reverberates in Anand. Anand is a word which has no absolute, no opposite. It's an absolute word. Happiness has an opposite, sorrow. So they exist in conjunction. They are the duality of life. So when we run after happiness, sorrow comes to us. If somebody asks, how does sorrow come to us? Say, when we go running after happiness, sorrow will come. That's why Maharaj in the Bani says, Hukam Razai Chalna. Acceptance is the key of life, not expectation. Does that mean I don't live my active life? I denounce it? I don't? No, that is a very personal experience. If I tell somebody that they should denounce or not denounce, that is your personal choice. Often enough, we become losers in our choices if our knowledge is incomplete. So in the knowing that life is pain, I give up the indulging in life. I give up my activities, I give up my work, I give up my family, I give up my society. And then where do I land? Because I'm still in the ego mind, there will still be no escape. The issue is not where and what I'm doing. The issue is how I'm doing it. Without knowing my source, life is a zero-sum game. We end up in a disaster zone in any case, whether we live this family life or not. But living the family life, we can transcend it. We can find a mind where there is no change. Let's read through the 32nd Pauri. And then we will try and see what Maharaj is telling us about life. Thank you.
ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਇੱਕ ਦੂਜੀ ਭੋ ਲਖ ਹੋਏ ਲੱਖ ਹੋਵੇ ਲੱਖ 20 ਲੱਖ ਲੱਖ ਬੇੜਾ ਆਖੀਐ ਏਕ ਨਾਮ ਜਗਦੀਸ਼ ਏਕ ਤਰਾ ਪਤ ਪਵੜੀਆਂ ਚੜੀਏ ਹੋਏ 21 ਸੁਣ ਗੱਲਾਂ ਆਕਾਸ਼ ਕੀ ਕੀਟਾਂ ਆਈ ਰੀਸ ਨਾਨਕ ਨਗਰੀ ਪਾਈਐ ਕੂੜੀ ਕੂੜੈ ਠੀਸ ਨਾਨਕ ਨਗਰੀ ਪਾਈਐ ਕੂੜੀ ਕੂੜੈ ਠੀਸ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ
ਧੰਨਵਾਦ। ਨਾਨਕ ਨਦਰੀ ਪਾਈਏ ਕੂੜੀ ਕੂੜੇ ਠੀਸ। We always like to tell ourselves that we are the doers and we do it all right. When there is a mistake, we will blame the other. Ego doesn't accept its own mistakes. The ego is always wandering and trying to see that there are no mistakes in it. That's the realm of ego. How do I go beyond the ego, Maharaj? Ego is the moving mind, the thought mind, the curtain mind which doesn't let me see what life really is. I don't know thoughtless mind. Most of us will not know. We only know thought mind, and our thoughts are mostly anxiety of our life, questions about life, or fantasy world where we're just vain thinking. Most of it is garbage. Some of it is useful. Everything about life has some utility in it. For example, fear. We consider fear a negative emotion, but it has a very strong role to play in our existence. Sorrow, similarly, is like an escape valve from this life. If there is no pain and sorrow, why will we seek anything? Then this realm will become really a realm where we don't lose. All these aspects of life have their own role to play. So in this way, nothing is really irrelevant. Everything has its own importance at its own level. But yet we get fooled by life. Guru Sahib tells us in the Zafarnama, Bibi Gardeshe Bewafai Sama, in Persian, Ke Barhar Baguzar Makino Maka. He's telling Aurangzeb, in fact us, because Aurangzeb is the ego mind, the power mind, the all-knowing mind, who thinks his existence is, he is the king, the lord, the master. That's what we feel. And if we don't feel that, then we get depressed. Maharaj tells him that see, Bibi means see. Gardeshe bewafai zama. That the world is deceitful. Bewafa. Ke barhar baguzar. That with time, nor does the person who lives in the house, nor the house. Both don't remain. And you see Aurangzeb's house today. What is his house? The old fort. There's nothing remaining of it but bricks and mortar. A fallen realm of historical relevance. But where is Aurangzeb? Where will I be? When I am gone from here, where will I go? कहाँ ते आवे, कहाँ है जावे, कहाँ है रहे समाई? Where do I come from? Where do I go? And where do I find my rest? To transcend the ego, Maharaj says, the source mind has to be connected through Shabad. When I find peaceful, relaxed state of mind, and I go into the Shabad world, how do I go there? Maharaj says, just sing it out and absorb your ego in that singing. Drop it there. Gaviye suniye. If I close my eyes and I sing and listen, then most of my senses are absorbed in the Shabad. Man rakhiye pao. And in your mind you find love. What love? For a person? No. For a condition? No. Unconditional love, rising from within us. दुख पर हर सुख कर ले जाए. You leave the house of pain and sorrow and go to the house of Anand. So this is the two minds, ego mind and the non-ego mind. Again, in another place in the Japji, he told us some 40 years ago, Suniye maniye man ki tapa. Listen. In the listening is the transformation of the man. The flight of the man happens then, when I listen. Because when I'm listening, I drop my ego. If I don't drop my ego, I can't listen. I have to put the ego aside. Only then I listen. So when there is, in the emotional befriending, when emotional healing is done of people who are in distress or pain, the one and only key to it is listening without suggesting. Because suggestion is again ego. I only listen and I make myself part of the other person's ego. And I reinforce that ego through name. And that is all it needs. I did narrate this some time ago about this incident with Chadwara, who was a priest in England and who created this society of befrienders international, Samaritans, those who heal emotionally by just listening. The story is that Chadwara opened a counseling session after he saw a girl commit suicide in distress because of her menstruation happen and she got confused. So he opened this healing center where he would invite people to come and talk to him. But a large part of those people who came to him came to his lounge where there was coffee and tea served, and they wouldn't meet him, they would go away. So he found it very confusing that these people come and they come regularly, they visit but they don't meet me and then they go away. So he asked them, why do you come? You don't meet me and go. So interestingly, they told him that we meet your attendants in the lounge and we talk to them. That makes us feel nice. So we relax and then we go back because that's what we are looking for. They only need somebody to listen. So their pain goes away. The coffee tea boys. Because the coffee tea boys don't impose their egos on us. Most of us are very hard egos. We are imposing our suggestions on others all the time. And that becomes kind of violent, insensitive. So, the dropping the ego connects us to our source. Suniye, that's the starting of the change within my man. When I listen to the Guru's Shabad, what the Guru is saying, and the deeper my listening, the deeper the transformation. Sometimes it triggers dreams in us. When you would meet such a source, it will trigger certain dreams which are coming from the past lives. Because most of our meetings are guided by past lives. Some seed we have sown somewhere. Bani says, Purab Janam Ankur Jab Prakte, Petyo Purak Rasik Bairagi. The past life, that seed which we have sown, it comes forth to us. So, this is how it all happens. And then it triggers some dream, something which is telling us about our past experience. Sant Niranjan Singh used to often tell us, we meet because we have met before. I gave an experience, I narrated one experience about this person who came from Sri Lanka to meet him and who had a past life association with him and had a vision about his past life. But these are matter-of-factly things. I'm saying that this sunnah, the deeper listening, is subconscious transformation of the mind. It transcends the changing mind to the non-changing mind. And then Manan starts. Manan is where I've received that visitation to that mind, where I have become one with my source. Man ki tapao. And there is love there. And then what has happened with this love, Maharaj? Antargat Tirat Malna. There is then a pilgrimage within me, a happiness center within me, a life of Anand within me. Antargat Tirat Malna. And there I find my relaxed mind, my calm mind, my unchanging mind, my love mind. And how does this happen, Maharaj? In this body today, Sahib is telling us, Ik du jibo lakh hove lakh vees. When there is one tongue reciting, and it turns into many more, 1 lakh, 20 times that. So, infinite number of recitations. Lakh lakh geda akhiye, ek naam Jagdish. That one naam from the jap within me comes from merging with the jap I'm doing, where the jap is so intense and so focused, so in dhyan, that it makes me transcend to my inner mind, to my unchanging mind. Lakh lakh geda akhiye, ek naam Jagdish. Et raha pat pauri. This is the way where I find the path, the exaltation, the grace, the salutation of the Nirankar. And I meet my source. Chadiye hoye ikis. And I am become one with my source, ik is. Ik with my Isa. Ik with my creator. One with my creator. And how does that translate into my daily life? Well, the daily life goes on, but there is a door which can be opened now, and I find an unconditional love and peace in that mind. So there may be chaos still in this mind, because this mind is going to live through the Karam life. It's not going to go beyond the Karam life. So it will have to end its journey of Karam. And then it meets its source mind. It meets its mind where there is love and joy within, unconditionally within me. That's why Maharaj says in the Bani of Anand, Anand Paya Meri Mai Satguru Mein Paya. I find the Guru and I find love and Anand and joy. There is no other condition. Nothing to do. Nothing I have to execute. That's how the source mind is. That is how the Guru is. Guru is love and Anand. Unconditional. But we have a problem. In this whole game, there is one disease which we all carry. And that's the ego mind that always wants to translate everything into accountability, into counting, into execution. So even when we do jap, we want to translate it into countings. I did 108 malas today, 1000 mala, 1000 today, 2000. I want to keep counting. I remember this story of this person who came to his guru and he said, I do so many malas. So the guru asked him, but what if you lose count and you counted wrong and you feel you've done it right? He says, no, Maharaj, I take good care of my counting. So the guru asked him, you have so much care about your counting, then where is your mind? That means the mind is not going inward, it is going out only. It is in the ego mind. So you have translated your jap into ego. A drop can be counted, but the drops in the ocean cannot be counted. And when the drop merges with the ocean, that's when we meet our infinite creator. There is no ego there, and no counting, no measure. Everything which can be measured is ego, is maya. It's the role of deception. It's where I fool myself, away from my source. If we really look at it, how far away is God from us? Closer than we think. Closer than I know myself. Because the Creator is within and without, everywhere. I am not permanent. I am not true in the sense will exist forever. No. I can only exist forever if I merge with my Creator and give up my ego. Samadhana. Maharaj says that there is a deception we all live in this life, is we don't want to translate this jap into a meeting with my Creator, but we want to translate this jap in my ego center. And for that, I have made a tool. Sun gallan akas ki, kita ai rees. I listen to these things about the Creator, about jap, about how much someone does. I create targets. If I do 1.25 lakh jap, I will get this, I will get that. These are imaginations of goals. Sun gallan akas ki. The meeting between me and my Creator is a sublime event. It happens in a different realm, a different fashion. It has no ego in it. And when somebody sits and forms his opinion or her opinion and wants to tell us about how this yoga posture or that yoga posture or this method or that method, then really there is no service the person is doing for us. How long does it take to drop the mind? A fraction of a second. We can use tools, but ultimately it will happen with the grace of the Creator, the karam. Without the karam, anything I am doing is my ego. There's a story about Gautam Buddha. I think it took him 12 or 13 years. And in that period, he did everything he could. His doing was the hindrance, but he kept doing. Any guru he met who told him do this, do that, he kept doing it and diligently did it. But there was no result. Because everything I do reinforces my ego. It's not about doing, it's about letting go. About giving your thoughts away. Not catching your thoughts as being yours. Letting them flow and go and find that calmness. Where then I can do dhyan in the Shabad. And the Shabad is undefined. Defined to me, but it comes from an undefined source. It connects me to my source. So I have the Mool Mantra, suppose. And in a calm, relaxed, unconfused mind, I sing the Mool Mantra. It will transcend me. It will transform me. It will connect me if I am blessed. And in this realm, there is no karam. The karam is in the ego mind. So in that realm, even if there is trouble in my ego mind, there is no trouble in that mind. I just look deeper. I just become calmer, go into the Shabad, and I am transformed into a new life. And that life has no time, space or cause which limits it. That experience cannot be taken away from us once it opens. That's the beauty. If happiness can be taken away, then it is sorrow, because it's been taken away. What remains if happiness is taken away? It's sorrow. So if happiness is conditional, it is sorrow. So what we do, sun galla akash ki, we want to transform and convince ourselves and others around us that we know. Kita iris. Maharaj says it's like a synonym, like an animals crawling, the ants think of the sky and think they've become sky in the sky. Just like that, a person who doesn't have evolution, who has not met his or her own source, who has not met the Anand mind, wants to convince himself or herself he knows. By just listening to these experiences or saying them, transforms them into his knowledge and say, I know it. Maharaj says, there is no such way. Nanak nadri paiye. Only when the Creator, the Master of this realm wants us to experience life, will we experience it in completeness. The Anand of life will open when we meet the Guru. It can't happen beyond that, without that. Maharaj says, Nanak nadri paiye. The only way is go into jap and don't measure it. Lose yourself in it. Like I've drowned myself and lost myself in the ocean and become the ocean. I've given up my identity. I'm willing to give up myself and meet my Creator. That's the only way another happens. Kudi kude thees. Kiv satyara hoiye, kiv kudi tutte paal. Kud the pal, the false, deceptive wall of life. Life is deception if we don't know its reality. In the ego-changing mind, life is a constant deception. Kudi. And then it becomes a talk of gup, of claiming that I know. Kude thees. The ego world doesn't know the Creator. The ego world doesn't know its own source. The ego world doesn't know where its Anand lies. The ego world doesn't know what its reality is. It's living a deception. It thinks it knows that in this relationship I will find love and eternal existence. That in this object and the possession of this object I will be very happy. That in this house I live in, this condition, this business I do, or this career I get, then I will be happy forever. These are deceptions. In life, happiness and sorrow come together. If we have accepted it, then we have got ready to transcend it. If we don't accept it, then we will keep wandering between these two. Wandering in its hukam. But kudi kudetis. Deceptive is our life then. And then claims about this deception can be many, but they're all leading nowhere. If we really look at it, most of us are just spending away our lives, not knowing where we are going, just passing away life. And then I get bored also. Say, I'm bored today because I'm passing away life. How do I spend this time of life? That is my whole experience. That I want to do something or experience something where I find some meaning in life. But the life's meaning is in its own being, in its own state. Life in its core is Anand, it's joy and love. Its reality is that. But we deceive ourselves and say, look, I'm bored today, let's go and do something. I get bored because my mind is not connected to its source. I want to spend this time in finding and knowing something. What is the mind? Maharaj in this 32nd Pauri is telling us that Jap, Simran, Naam, this is the way life's reality is known to us. But we cannot use that as a tool of the ego. There was one poet whom I remember who used to say, Man ka fer de. Man ka. Manka is the thread where the counting is, the 108 beads. He says, leave this. The man also has its beads within itself. Man ka fer. The turt miladu to hai. Go into your inner mind and you will connect immediately. What is the need for this rosary? I'm not saying it is wrong. I'm just saying that people can use rosary and still find the right way. It's possible. But we like to use the rosary to transform our naam into its counting, into the ego man. I did so much jap today. Guruji told me that if I do 1 lakh jap, then I will get this thing. This is all ego game. What will I get here? I'll leave it here. We can play that game, but it's a losing sum. What does life give us that it doesn't take away? There's no relationship it will not take away. There's no money it will not take away. There's no status it will not take away. Guru says life has something more powerful, something more energetic, something more permanent, something more empowering. He says, Naam is the experience of life where I win the game. And without Naam, I lose it all. But yet I want to play games with myself. Because the ego is a very powerful controller of me. It has me in its clutches. So Maharaj says, Ik du jibbo lakh hove lakhvis. Lakh geda akhiye ek naam Jagdish. The naam of Jagdish. Now this becomes, the jap has got also stages in it. One is that when I do the jap vakri while saying it, then it becomes internalized. It becomes Simran. And I am remembering it. I am remembering my source. Every time I do the jap, I connect to my love within me. And then if I repetitively do it, then it becomes Simran. I remember that love and I go back into it. Jap man satnam sada satnam. Maharaj says then, Jai Har Simran Peya, Tau Padgat Kini. When this jap becomes Simran, then it heals me completely. Vadbhagi har japna. He says, Jan Nanak ko gur Ahmad Dini. I am giving this knowledge to the people of the world. Jap har paap jalta apna. By doing this jap, you go across this world. You go and cross the changing world to unchanging world. But we are not able to do it because we don't involve our man in our jap. The surat has to meet the shabad and the anand comes then. The surat is the focused mind, non-wandering mind. So what I do, maybe I take one shabad, I take the Mool Mantar, and I say it out loud, alone by myself, or with people, but going within me, not going out. And I do make a habit of it. I visit myself through the Shabad of the Creator. That makes me transcend my mind, my ego mind. Nanak nadri pai. And then the karam, the grace, the nadar, the blessings of the Creator meet me. I am no more, and I am a drop merged with the ocean. Very difficult to imagine, and I don't think we need to imagine. We are today in the ego mind, and our way forward is what Guru Sahib is telling us. That he is saying, Lakh lakh geda akhiye ek naam Jagdish. One naam of Jagdish, of the Creator, is what I need to absorb my mind into. Lakh lakh geda, countless times. How does this become countless? When the Simran becomes a Japa Jap. Jap which is not consciously being done. I am doing some work, my mind is absorbed in that work, but my inner mind is doing its job. We will visit the Pauris ahead. And in Sram Khand, Guru addresses this and tells us what it is. Sram Khand ki Bani Roop. So, Shabad is our source mind. Shabad is the universal energy within our unconscious mind. And when they meet, the jap happens unconsciously, a deeper mind. It may also not be consciously, I may not be aware it is happening. But for that, I need to journey deeper into myself and Shabad. Shabad is the Guru. I don't need a person with all kinds of clothes who I call a Guru, whom I bow to. I have to absorb my mind in the Shabad. And the Shabad is the Creator's visitation. This is the Amrit of life. Maharaj says we are all looking for Amrit. Amrit is what? Amrit is happiness without death. when I find the happiness which can't be taken away from me. If it can be taken away, then it is worldly. Then it is ego mind. If it can't be taken away, then I transcend death. Then death becomes a meaningful experience for me, meaningless experience for me. It doesn't change my core mind in any way. It doesn't change my core experience in any way, which I'm anyway going to experience while I'm living. The source mind, the Anand in the Man, the love in the Man is experienced by me while I'm living as another life, a parallel life. And there I've experienced that life as another dimension. It's not only about these conflicts, these worries, these tensions, the profit and loss, but there is another experience which is much deeper, which is more permanent, which is the real experience of life. Someone is born rich or poor. If they find Naam, it's irrelevant whether they are rich or poor. They are the same in that experience of Naam. So we are all connected in the stage of Naam. Bhagat Ravdas says that those who are a member of this shahar, this city called Begumpura, they are my family. My physical family is not my permanent family. Jo hum shahri so meet hamara. One who stays in this city of Begumpura, who has found this mind which is unchanging, love and Anand within me, I am a member of that family. So in this ego world, we are all lonely, we are all alone, we are all single. And in this non-ego mind, we are all connected. There is no me, there is only the Creator. All those who have found complete Creator. And all those who have not found have lived life in its incompleteness, in loneliness, in its conflicts, in its incompleteness, and in its ultimate way, it's a losing experience. Because when it goes away, what do I get from it? When all this life goes away, which is the ego mind life, what is that I gain? What is it that I can carry with me? Beyond life, beyond this physical life, what can I carry with me? I can only carry Naam, but I don't know Naam. So I go away a loser. So he can be rich, no problem. It's not as though somebody who is rich cannot find Naam. It has nothing to do with it. Age, knowledge, wealth, status in society, power in society, it is not relevant. The experience of Naam is the same for all of us. Maharaj says, Nanak nadri paiye. With his gifts, I find my meeting door with him. And then I never separate. With his nadar, I find that source where I am coming from. With his nadar, I find the Guru, whom I am wanting to understand, know and learn from. And my mind becomes one with my Guru mind. Maharaj is inviting us, guiding us to go into Simran, Naam, Jap. And he is telling us, लख लख गेड़ा आखिए एक नाम जगदीश एत राह पत पवड़िए चढ़िए हो 21. That is how you find your 21, your creator. Itra, this is the way. Not the counting, the measuring, the translating it into what I can get from this, because that is all the ego mind. And that will be leading us to pain ultimately. The 32nd Pauri of the Japji Sahib, meeting Guru Nanak Sahib Maharaj. Forgive my errors. Thank you all for being here. Visiting the Guru's Bani is visiting the Guru and meeting our Guru. With the prayers for everyone, I end the session. If anybody has a question, you can raise your hand on Zoom or write out your question on YouTube, and then we can discuss it and see. Then we will have Anand Sahib as the conclusion of the session today. Thank you so much. Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh.